what on earth happened in that Grand Prix? This video is me just gonna just try and work out and understand and go through everything that happened, really, with my non-editing skills and bad camera quality that I have. So it literally finished about 45 minutes ago, but the 2025 British Grand Prix. Bearing in mind, as with it being in Britain, at Silverstone, obviously we got classic British weather, where it chucked it down for about half an hour, completely soaked the track. Everyone changed onto intermediate tyres, and then we got spells of dry. We got dry spells where the track dried up again enough for DRS to be enabled, and people changed onto the slick tyres. Everyone came into the pits, changed into slick tyres. Still was too slippery for grip, but obviously the stewards deemed it dry enough for DRS, so they enabled DRS. And then it absolutely chucked it down again, and people had to change back onto intermediate tyres. I'm going to put the timestamps down below, because I'm going to talk about and waffle on about some different things that come to mind. I haven't got anything written down. But I think the first thing we'll start with is, and again I'll put the videos of it down below as well, is the controversial penalty given to Oscar Piastri. So it was a safety car restart down the, I believe, the Wellington or Camel Straight. I don't know the layout of the track particularly, but down one of the back straights towards the last few corners, and the safety car came in, was going to go in for that particular lap, and Oscar seemed to accelerate up the straight, and then obviously Max thought that he was accelerating as well, and then Piastri braked really hard, and Max overtook him and then dropped back, and Piastri was given a 10-second time penalty for that incursion, for that incident. A lot of pundits, and obviously Zach Brown, but he may be a bit biased, say that the penalty was a bit harsh, bearing in mind in Barcelona a few weeks earlier, when Verstappen crashed into George Russell. Verstappen was given a 10-second penalty for that incident. So a lot of the pundits and a lot of F1 critics are saying that Piastri's penalty seems to be a bit harsh compared to the 10-second penalty that Verstappen was given. In my opinion, I think obviously I'm obviously not going to be biased, but I do think the penalty was a bit harsh. Piastri was dominating the Grand Prix. You know, he was 15 seconds ahead in the first stint of the race, and I do think it was a bit harsh. I do think he still needed to have a penalty, but maybe not 10 seconds. Obviously, Verstappen's incident deemed a 10-second penalty, but I don't think Piastri's deemed a 10-second penalty. A penalty still, but not as much of a time gap as Verstappen. The other highlights to talk about is the unbelievable drive of Nico Hulkenburg. So Nico Hulkenburg drives for Kick Sauber, going to be Audi next year. And he qualified yesterday in P19, 19th place. And somehow he dragged that Kick Sauber up to third. This Grand Prix was Nico Hulkenberg's 239th start for in his Formula One career, and before today he had never ever reached a podium finish, which I think is mental. But But after 239 Grand Prix career races, he managed to get a podium today. And bearing in mind, as I say, he started P19. I think he managed the car really well. He used and did quite a good race strategy. Utilized the car in the interchangeable conditions. Although obviously the gap to the McLarens was monumental, I think by the end of the race the McLarens had pulled out like a 31-second gap to Hulkenburg. But even so, by the end of the race, Hulkenburg was the quickest car on track on the dry tyres compared to everyone else. Hamilton was catching, but Hamilton made a little bit of a mistake in Maggots and Beckett's, which cost him that gap. But obviously, Hulkenberg earned Driver of the Day, which is fully deserved in my opinion. Obviously, 19th to 3rd. That's a bit like Arava's last to question mark challenges on the F1 games. Like, how far up the grid can you go from the back of the grid? But yeah, Kick Sauber have done a tremendous job. Obviously, Jonathan Wheatley coming in as the new team principal as of the start of the season. Obviously had won 700 podiums or whatever with Red Bull Racing, to now where he is in control of the team. Brought his analysis and knowledge over to Kick Sauber, and is doing really, really well. I feel like he is a good team principal and can lead the team to more podiums and potentially some wins in the future. What else happened? Lando Norris obviously winning the British Grand Prix. Obviously, really, really well done for him. Obviously, wouldn't have won it if not for Oscar's penalty. But he did, and that's the most important thing. And obviously, over the radio, I think he tried to hide it a little bit, but there were a few voice tremors and things over the radio where he was super happy for his race victory, and I'm happy for him. Obviously, I'm not a McLaren fan, as you can see. I'm more of a Red Bull fan, but it is always good when a British driver wins the Grand Prix. Even when Hamilton won last year, even though when he was driving for Mercedes then, I still liked it a little bit, as it's always good for a British driver to win your home Grand Prix. But yeah, aside from the race, and Lance Stroll, one of the worst drivers on the F1 grid, coming 4th or 5th or whatever it was, that was quite good as well. But I think off the race itself, onto sort of rumours around the grid. Obviously, in an interview with Channel 4 yesterday in the qualifying TV programme, they caught up with Valtteri Bottas, potentially rumouring to have a seat for Cadillac, the new team on the grid next season. He said there's nothing confirmed yet, but from the way he was talking, he said the fight is still there. He still feels like he can do well in races. So I believe he will be in the one of the Cadillac seats next year. And the other driver, we'll have to see. I imagine they'll either give it to an American, maybe like a Logan Sargent, who lost their seat last season from Williams, maybe. Because obviously it's an American team. You want an American driver, so maybe they'll look to Logan Sargent or maybe Jack Doohan to be in that seat. But yeah, apart from that, obviously Max Verstappen not doing very well in the Red Bull car at the moment. Had that slide in the Grand Prix today. Obviously, Toto Wolff confirmed in the media recently that he was in talks with Verstappen about a potential move to Mercedes. But obviously, that then brings up, who does Toto replace? Does he replace George Russell, who has been a Mercedes academy and driver for his entire career, or does he replace Kimi Antonelli, who is is in his rookie season this season, and has already proved has got a lot of potential in the car. But we'll have to see. I apologise for the lighting, but that is my video today. Thank you for all of the views on my YouTube short. Obviously, I understand a lot of people do not like golf, but I just thought it would be a different opinion, a different decision to, because obviously after the Sidemen had sold out Wembley, it would be a different change of scenery. But I understand about, you know, safety concerns and people trying to get close to the action and things like that. But we'll have to see. See you in the next video. Bye bye.